This is a story from Timcast.com going into greater detail on the congressional hearings we saw with Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger. They say Schellenberger, along with fellow Twitter Files reporter Matt Taibbi, appeared before the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government regarding their findings in the Twitter Files. Quote, "I've never worked on an issue where so frequently while doing it, I just had chills going up my spine because of what I was seeing happening." Schellenberger said, "I never thought in my own country that freedom of speech would be threatened in this way. It's just frightening when you get into it." It's amazing because the Democrats and what was it, that delegate woman, not even a member of Congress, were
Plaskett
smearing and lying and acting like this stuff isn't happening right before our very eyes. With Tucker Carlson, he puts out video definitively proving the police gave an escort to Chansley, the Q shaman, walking him around the building, trying to open doors for him. And the media comes out in lockstep, along with Mitch McConnell, and they all say, no, don't believe your lying eyes. Tucker Carlson is speaking against the what should we call it? The enclave.
Right. And the White House said he's not credible.
That's right. So don't listen to him. Now we have Michael Schellenberger.
Don't believe your eyes.
Right.
Yeah, don't believe your eyes. We have the Twitter Files, definitive evidence that the government was working in tandem. There's portals. Twitter built a government reporting portal. And then I see this Democrat being like, was there ever any instance where the government demanded they take something down? And Schellenberger's like, yes. He's like, they directed them to take it down. He goes, they did. He goes, they emailed saying like, hey, flagging these for review. And he goes, oh, they're just flagging them though. Okay, thank you for clarifying. You think a request is a demand.
They
these
barely
people are just so
let them
duplicitous.
answer too.
I know.
It was insane. I mean, it was actually one of the most lit congressional hearings.
Yeah,
that
it was
I've
crazy.
seen in a while. It was really.
So, Libby, you actually watched the whole thing.
I watched the
play
whole
this.
thing. Yeah,
Let me play
Hannah
this-
can tell you.
let me play these
Hannah at
clips.
Post Millennial can tell you.
I'm gonna play this clip.
Yeah, let's play
and to
it.
praise him.
Here we go. This is Plaskett.
And to
Yes.
praise him for his work. This isn't just a matter of what data was given to these so-called journalists before us now. There are many legitimate questions.
Look at Matt Taibbi gives this look to Michael Schellenberger like, did she just say so-called
legitimate
journalist?
questions about where Musk got the financing
Kind of like she's a
to buy
so-called
Twitter.
congresswoman.
We know
She's not. She's a delegate.
She's
But
not-
wait,
so-
She's not even
All
a
right,
congresswoman.
you ready for
Not even a
this?
congresswoman.
Clown show.
So Glenn Greenwald tweeted this 18 seconds. He should have tweeted the full thing because Matt Taibbi mentions he's got 30 years in the industry. But
It was
here's
amazing.
Here's what he said.
That time was spent at Rolling Stone magazine. Ranking Member Plaskett, I'm not a so-called journalist. I've won the National Magazine Award, the I.F. Stone Award for Independent Journalism, and I've written 10 books, including 4 New York Times bestsellers. I'm now...
Yeah, there you go.
She's not even
And
listening
you
to his
can
answer.
hear
Right.
Jim Jordan in the background just being like, "Oh my goodness,
These people are
why?"
evil. There's just no question. And now that Ian's not here, what do they say? When the cats are away, the muscle. But now that Ian's not here, we can all sit here in agreement that Democrats are evil, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're in furtherance of Moloch.
Now Ian's sitting in his room going like, I should have been on the show tonight.
I wouldn't say evil necessarily.
You wouldn't say evil. You wouldn't say withholding exculpatory evidence from
would
the
say
public
that doing
and the
that is
defendants.
evil. I would say doing that is evil.
So you don't think the people who did that were evil?
I don't know. I hesitate to put judgment on a person's heart.
So
I'm a softie like that.
So you're saying that you're
I
pulling
believe
Ian
in
here.
redemption.
Yeah, I believe in redemption too, but I got to tell you, a person who who engages in evil activities is an evil person.
I think they should probably be put in prison. I mean, these are criminals.
Look, man, there's a guy who goes into a bank and he robs it demanding $1. And then the cops come and they say, "Sir, you're under arrest." And he explains the reason he did it was because he has cancer and he can't get medical treatment, but if he's in prison, they'll be forced to give him medical treatment and he didn't want to die.
Maybe he was trans.
And that is not an evil person. No. That is a horrifying story and a very sad one, but he committed a crime and he should go to prison. You have people who are hungry or who typically want or need things. I would not call that evil. If a guy goes to a supermarket and he steals some food because he's hungry, I wouldn't call that evil.
Jean Valjean.
If a guy goes
would
to a
say-
supermarket and grabs food, brings it out back and destroys it because it's funny and he does it in front of starving people, I would say that's evil.
That's evil. Yeah,
And that person is evil.
I would say that Stacey Plaskett and Sylvia Garcia, I think they are stupid. I think they are stupid, moronic people.
I think they're
I don't
evil.
think they even have enough sense of personhood to be evil. I think they're just completely
It's the banality of evil.
stupid.
So-
They're
so-
so
so-
stupid.
okay.
Like Sylvia Garcia, the Texas representative.
You're saying useful idiots?
Well, let me ask
I
you a
don't
question
even
then.
think useful.
Is-
She's out there. She's talking about like, oh, did you file this with Twitter first? She doesn't even know
Right,
how
of course,
Twitter
of course.
works.
Ian said the other night that he thinks, I asked him what evil was, and he said strangling a cat because you enjoy watching it suffer.
That's an evil action.
You think a person who strangles cats for fun is evil? They go around doing it consistently, knowing it's wrong. They find pleasure enjoying it.
Yes, I think intentionally doing
what
the
if
wrong
they were
thing.
developmentally disabled and they were laughing, strangling a cat? Is that evil?
You mean like in Of Mice and Men when Lenny kills that girl?
I don't know. I guess.
Was Lenny evil?
I mean,
Steinbeck.
I don't know. So if a person does a level of intelligence absolve someone of their evil actions?
I wonder if it does. That's an interesting question.
I say no.
Does evil require intelligence?
I do not think so. I think whether any kind of there is a degree of evil in cats.
I knew
cats torture other animals for fun and pleasure, not for sustenance. So, but we know this. We know this about them.
Are cats evil?
Yep.
I mean, to a certain degree. To a certain degree, they are.
So,
What about
I'll
pit
put it. I'll
bulls?
put it
Are
this
they
way.
evil?
I'll put it this way.
I disagree.
I think they might be.
But-
Dogs
but-
can't be.
Dogs can't be evil.
Dogs can't be evil.
Dogs cannot be.
So I'll
don't
put it this.
know.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. That if is that person evil in their heart, if they're not making that decision themselves of their own volition.
Yes.
That's a moral question. But if you are on the receiving end, if you are someone who is subject to a regime that's controlled by people like Stacey Plaskett, if you are subject to a pit bull attack from your neighbor, right, then it is within your rights to act to stop the evil which is occurring to you.
I just got to give a shout out to Brett Ain't Dead in the member chat saying, no, cats are based. And then they're posting Bocas emojis. Look, we like cats.
All right, well, that's
but
cute.
there's a degree of...
There's 100 cats here, by the way.
I've watched Bocas sit outside staring at a crippled mouse that he crippled. And then it's laying there hyperventilating and shaking. And then when it gets up and slowly starts crawling away, he stands up and gets ready. And then when it runs, he whacks it again. And then it just sits there and starts shaking again.
Oh, that is
And I'm like,
brutal.
yo, cats are evil, dude. That's
that's
so
brutal.
horrible.
Because he's not hungry, so he
Nope.
doesn't need to destroy the
It was
thing.
just fun
It's just
because
for
it's
fun.
suffering. That's right. Cats do that. Cats.
I knew this woman
Yeah,
in
cats are evil,
college,
dude.
and she told me about her dad who, when their cat had
My
too
friends
many
have dated
kittens,
girls like that. By the
We
way.
like cats though
took
because
all
they
the
can't hurt
kittens
us.
and put them in the freezer.
Yo,
And
that's
killed
messed
them in
up.
the freezer.
See, that's
Yeah,
evil
that was
too.
messed up. I think that was evil. I knew this man who was.
But were
mentally,
they mentally challenged?
the cat or the dad?
The dad.
I don't think her name was Jessica, but she was from New Zealand actually. So the way she said it was Jessica.
I mean, look, when
I
it
don't
comes
think
to
Jessica's
the
dad
law,
was
we
mentally
actually
disabled.
don't hold someone
did.
responsible for a crime if they are developmentally or mentally disabled. We actually say, this person is not capable of going on the stand and defending themselves. The actions they committed were outside of their understanding, so we're not going to put them to death.
There was this woman, you see this woman who killed her children, and now her attorneys are saying, well, she's mentally ill.
In Massachusetts?
Yeah, so she shouldn't face the death penalty.
That story, man.
It's brutal. I think that's evil. I think even if you're mentally ill, you can be evil. If I think about it in terms of mothers who kill children.
I think people can be redeemed. I think people can be apologetic. I think people can realize what they did was wrong. But I
think she belongs in a mental institution.
if you commit evil acts, you are evil.
I'm shocked she hasn't killed herself.
I think she belongs in a mental institution. That's what I'll say with that.
What they did to the January 6th defendants is definitively, undeniably, factually, objectively evil.
Yes, I think that's true.
They withheld exculpatory evidence, violating their rights, violating the law for personal gain, causing suffering to another person.
Well, and they did
Evil.
it in order to bash and destroy
For personal gain.
just the rest of Americans. They did it to hurt all of us.
They did it to criminalize the Trump movement, and they did it to criminalize the MAGA movement, and they did this as I was saying earlier. We experienced a domestic color revolution in 2020. All the hallmarks of whether you want to talk about Maidan, which Tim, I know you covered live. Whether you want to
I was
talk
there on the
about we're seeing elements of this in Tbilisi right now in Georgia. That this was a domestic color revolution, and some of the same people, like Norm Eisen, we may still be living through elements of it, were admitted parts of it. The man who wrote the book on color revolutions, and he's in the Time magazine article, which came out 1 month after January 6th, like the serial killer writing the letter to the police, "I got you, and you will never catch me," and then signing it because they want credit for their work. So when I see all of these things happen together, then January 6th comes out as a sort of it's almost like a psychological justification used by the regime in order to say, well, this is why we had to do all of those things. Don't you see? We had to protect you from this terrible movement. We had to protect you from these people, these 71 million Americans who are all domestic terrorists. We're going to criminalize this movement. We're going to get rid of you. That's why, and you're seeing, but you actually are seeing elements of the symptoms of the effects of this from the Republican Party now, because you're starting to see the more establishment types are trying to go back to Reagan. They're trying to bring him back up again. You know, we're really the Reagan party. You're even seeing Eisenhower. I'm seeing people do this now, like a lot of Zoomers they always have a Ukraine flag in their bio and they say, I'm an Eisenhower Republican, right? It's like, name one thing Eisenhower did.
And I don't know why everybody likes Reagan so much, to be honest.
And then
gun control and no fault divorce. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Well, and
plus
gun
mass
control in order to
amnesty.
make it harder for Black Californians to own guns.
Well, and the point,
like what?
But the
That's
point
not
being
better.
is, it's not about Reagan. It's about someone who's not Trump. It's about someone who is popular, who's not Trump, that we can go back to and use as a way to shade against Trump, which is funny because originally the establishment hated Reagan. They were all behind the Bush family. And that's why you had that election in 1980 the way you did, where Bush becomes the vice president after running an extremely hard race against the grassroots populist candidate, which may be something that we see again very soon here. I say for no reason whatsoever, that they are attempting to make it painful. And Tim, you talked about this once before. You said, if you're watching the mainstream, when you were talking about the 2020 election, I really appreciated your diagnosis of what happened. That you had a group of people in this country on the left that listened to the media and said all of these terrible, horrible things were happening, and they kept ratcheting up the pressure, the pain and the psychological torture, and then said, if you just vote him out of office, it'll all go away.
But more than that, they then knocked on your door and said, all of the suffering you're enduring as you're locked in this building is because of Trump. Here you go. Here's the ballot to fill out. And they would say, you got it. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.